So you want to become a security guard in Ontario? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving into the official guide, breaking down exactly what it takes to become a licensed professional. Let's jump right in.
So, what does it really take? I mean, it's way more than just putting on a uniform, right? We're talking about knowing the law, understanding your authority, and shouldering a whole lot of responsibility. Let's get into what that actually looks like.
First things first, your whole journey starts with this one crucial step, getting that license. And that means you've got to meet some basic requirements and, you guessed it, pass the official test.
And here is the number you need to burn into your memory. 62%. That's the minimum score you need to pass the mandatory 60-question multiple-choice security guard test. That's the target. That's the goal.
But hey, before you even start studying for that test, you've got to make sure you can check off these 4 boxes. You have to be at least 18 years old. You need a clean criminal record, and there are specific regulations about what that means. You must be legally able to work in Canada, and of course, you have to finish the required training. Think of this as your ticket to even get in the door.
Okay, so once you're on the path to getting that license, it's time to learn the rule book. I mean, these are the laws and the codes of conduct that are going to dictate every single move you make on the job.
You're going to see this acronym everywhere, so let's get friendly with it. PSIA, the Private Security and Investigative Services Act. This isn't just a set of friendly guidelines. This is the foundational law that makes the whole industry professional. You have to know it, and you have to follow it. And this right here, this is a super important distinction. You absolutely must carry your license at all times and wear your approved uniform. But on the flip side, you can never carry a metal badge. You can't use words like police or officer. The key takeaway, you are not law enforcement, and you can never, ever pretend to be.
Now, beyond the specific laws, there's a code of conduct that really gets to the heart of being a professional. We're talking about basic stuff that means everything. Acting with honesty, treating everyone with respect, no abusive language, and absolutely no excessive force. These aren't just nice ideas, they're the non-negotiable standards of the job.
All right, so you've got the license, you know the rules. What does the job actually look like when you're out there? Let's talk about what you'll be doing on patrol.
You know, this right here is the absolute core of the job. People might imagine intense physical situations, but honestly, most of your time is spent doing these 4 things: observe, deter, record, and report. Your very presence is a deterrent, and your ability to properly document what you see is probably your most powerful tool.
And when you're out there observing, you're usually on patrol. Now, you've got options. Foot patrol is awesome. You're super visible, you can get into tight spaces, and you can use all your senses. But you're also slower and out of the elements. A vehicle patrol, on the other hand, lets you cover a huge area fast. The downside, you're stuck on roads, and the engine noise might drown out something important. Choosing the right one all depends on the site you're protecting. Now, that whole record and report thing, that's where you have to be precise. A perfect report answers 6 key questions. It all starts with the most obvious one: who? You need to identify every single person involved: suspects, victims, and witnesses. Next up, what? You need to describe exactly what went down. This isn't the time for your opinions. It's a step-by-step factual account of the events. Just the facts. Timing is everything. Your report has to answer when it happened. We're talking precise date and time. You need to lay out the sequence of events in perfect chronological order, from beginning to end. And where did all this happen? Location is key. Be specific. Where exactly did the incident take place? Where was the evidence found? The details matter. Now, this one's a little tricky. Why? Your job is not to play detective and guess someone's motives. It's about recording any evident reasons you saw or heard. If someone says why they did something, you write it down. Otherwise, you stick to the observable facts. And finally, you wrap it all up with how. How did the incident unfold? How did people act? How did it escalate? You master these 6 questions, and your report becomes a rock-solid piece of evidence. All right, let's shift gears. We're moving into the really challenging parts of the job now: what to do in an emergency and how to understand the very serious rules around using force. I need you to pay close attention to this term: positional asphyxia. It's when someone's body is in a position where they literally can't breathe. It can be fatal. So here's the bottom line, and it is a life or death one. During any kind of physical restraint, you never, ever put pressure on someone's chest or hold them face down on the ground. Knowing this can save a life.
And speaking of physical situations, let's talk about the use of force. The rule is simple to say, but so much harder to apply in real life. You are legally allowed to use as much force as is necessary to control a situation. But, and this is the crucial part, if you use any force that's considered excessive, you are the one who's criminally responsible. It is a razor-thin line that demands incredible judgment.
Okay, let's wrap this up by looking at where your authority actually comes from. What are the laws that give you power? And more importantly, what are the limits of that power?
So, your power to make an arrest, it's not some special security guard superpower. It comes straight from the Criminal Code of Canada, Section 494. This basically says that any person can arrest someone they find committing a crime on their property. So your authority in this case is the same as any other citizen's. A law you'll probably use way more often is the Provincial Trespass to Property Act. This gives you very clear powers. You can tell someone they're not allowed on the property, you can ask them to leave, and if they refuse, you can arrest them. But there's one last mandatory step. The moment you make that arrest, you have to call the police, immediately. So there you have it. We've gone over the test, the rules, the day-to-day duties, and the laws that define your authority. You can learn all of that knowledge. But the real question, the one you have to ask yourself is, are you ready for the responsibility that comes with it all? Because that, right there, is what it truly means to be a security professional in Ontario.